Jonesy, a unconventional episode of On the Drift, but hey, we've overcome longer odds, I would have thought.
Oh, without a doubt, mate. This is fully virtual On the Drift. This is what we do for the drifters, mate. We find a way. We find a way through technology, but secondly, you've found a way through the spicy cough. Look at you, mate. You look fine. What's going on?
That's just our upgraded lighting that's helping me, I think. But what I will say is that this disease, and it is a disease, I might say, this disease that I have, it's I feel like fireburn. Like I have a spicy cough, fireburn. It's a fiery little spicy girl as well. But I feel like it just doesn't end there with like the naming comparisons. I feel like fireburn is... She doesn't have a great staying capacity. I feel like I won't have a great staying capacity within this podcast either. So I feel like this is going to be a far more compact edition.
Yeah, this is going to be a short and sharp podcast, drifters. But look, I want them to show you some love, mate, for actually going to the effort to appear on the podcast. It's a valiant effort. Look, the spicy cough is something that doesn't discriminate, mate. And
it doesn't.
And all of us are, vulnerable at one time or the other. And I'm assuming you must have got it up on Whitehaven Beach, mate, or perhaps in the airport or on the flight back.
Well, so just to give a bit of a background, so yes, went up to the Whitsundays, was on a boat for about an hour out to the location for this long lunch, which was, I might say, just absolutely sensational. So if I got it there, then so be it. I want to be a victim, but I really can't, because the only thing that was a bit dodgy about the whole weekend was we were flying back on a propeller plane.
Oh no.
Yeah, so there was only two rows of seats. Like there was a row of seats, but like only two on each side on the way back. So that was... And you could really feel the floor vibrating underneath her.
Mate, geez, the earth looks a long way down from up there, mate.
Yeah. It's actually crazy how quick things turn. Because like Monday felt fine. Tuesday woke up with a bit of a literally spicy throat, and I was like, oh, I didn't really think about anything about it. I was like, oh, must have just like slept with my mouth open. Went to the gym that morning.
Yeah, your mouth breather.
Yeah. Went to the gym that morning, obviously just spreading it around everywhere. That's fine. And then it was like on the drive home, started feeling my spine, and I was like, oh, that's not good. And then had a nice hot shower, felt a bit better, then went to sleep, just woke up about midnight just in sweats and fever. So it was just like, just took hold of me.
Yeah, just in licorice, all sorts, mate.
Yeah.
Well, one of us was bound to get it eventually. I've managed to dodge it, mate. Like the Lions are dodging elimination at the moment. So yeah, it's it's there's been a lot on. Look, this would have been if you were healthy, if you weren't such a victim, this would have been one of the all-time podcast episodes celebrating the Lions win on the weekend, but more importantly, mate, celebrating your hectic performance on the punt, picking the nose out of them.
Mate, it was a great weekend all around. Like, and thank God I didn't have COVID symptoms like until the Tuesday, because I was like fully taking in the entire weekend. But it was a hell of a weekend. Started off Friday night. Friday in general, just landing into the Whitsunday is just beautiful. And then I had to basically watch the entire second half. We watched the first half on our phones at a pub. Then basically halftime transited home. Second half, I was like literally watching it by myself in the darkness, just like, because trying to keep it quiet, not to wake everyone, which was difficult. It was very difficult. And then there was zero reception where we went. So basically put all my bets on in the morning, and then It was basically like it was like 20 minutes away on this boat. I was like, well, I can see the bars on my phone, so it's either going to be amazing information or not that great. And then there was a few more dollars than what started, but I basically was texting you ferociously to see what was happening.
Yeah, mate, I was giving you live updates like, mate, Pink Ivory won. How good? No response. It's like, geez, if I'm Thunderstruck didn't win that, he would have been in the bin for me. I didn't think he'd get there. No response. Fireburn, okay, mate. You should be proud of a decent return. No response. Yeah. No reception. Absolutely no reception. But
I think the first text I sent through was to our group chat going like, what the fuck has happened? Are we still alive in the quaddie or what? I had no idea.
Yeah. Macca was in charge of the quaddie on the weekend. It was a valiant effort. I think a $13 pop won in the first, which he got. I think he got outdone by Baller down the straight, who was paying nearly 20s with Neds.
He drifted out a lot though. I actually saw him prior to, and if I was I was going to do this, but like if I was to like put out one more tip, he was going to be one. And last week, but I was like, far out. I can't be tipping like half the cards across Sydney and Melbourne, providing tips. But I didn't mind him. So if we had a group quaddie, he probably would have been my selection. But I doubt we would have had like the first leg anyway. So,
alas, it is the great game we play.
It is. But yeah, mate, how was your weekend? All things considered.
Yeah, it was good, mate. Very low key compared to yours. Look, didn't have the greatest day on the punt. That's 2 weekends in a row for me. Drifters where, just haven't been living up to my generally high expectations of myself. But that's to be expected. You have a good autumn. It's all going to come crashing down sooner rather than later. I tell you what, mate, when I saw Alligator Blood out the front of the Maccabi Diva, and I was like, this is exactly how I felt the race was gonna go. Just doubting myself. I was like, why didn't I tip him? Such an idiot. I'll never trust Thunderstruck ever again. But he got home, mate, and it was again the credit where credit's due. He's still not one of mine, but he's a genuine way for H horse now on Thunderstruck.
100% he is. And what I can't believe out of the fallout of that race was I think racing.com even gave Alligator Blood the ride of the day. I'm sorry, what? Wasn't I'm Thunderstruck a better ride because he got the W? Like I don't know about you, mate, but I want W's. I want to talk about W's. Mark Zara's ride was unbelievable.
It was, mate. We anticipated that he wouldn't find too much trouble, even though he drew inside. We were thinking maybe just sit, just like 2 pairs back or something like that. But he managed to find a lot of trouble. So it was really tricky. So to sort of navigate back on the inside and then sort of get him to roll up at the right time. Yeah, enormous run, mate. And, he's by shocking. So he's clearly proven over the mile distance. Out to 2,000 metres, I don't think it's too much of a question from Thunderstruck. Now it's just a question of whether, can he beat the best that we have over 2,000 metres? He's putting himself in the conversation, that's for sure.
All right, so there's basically, outside of Zaki and ANAMOE, I feel like there's 2 horses that are a rung below. So who would you prefer to have a bet on in the race? And say they start the same price. Would you rather Mr. Brightside or I'm Thunderstruck in the Cox Plate?
For me right now, I'd say I'm Thunderstruck. I think Mr. Brightside's win in the Fiend was unreal and dominant and stacks up on the clock, with ratings and everything like that. But I think for me, I'm Thunderstruck. It looks like he's got a base layer, which sits above Mr. Brightside's right now, and there's going to be natural improvement in both of them as their prep comes along. So for me, I'd say I'm Thunderstruck, but I wouldn't say there's an awful lot between them. What do you reckon?
No, I agree. I think Mr. Brightside, I feel like I see him as more of a wait for age miler, whereas I see I'm Thunderstruck as like a genuine like chance in an Underwood or out to 2,000 meters. I feel like I can see him running into the placings more than I see Mr. Brightside over that distance.
Completely agree, mate. Completely agree. Run to the Rose in secret. What were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, she was really good. And I only found this out, watching some review stuff post, but first filly to win the Run to the Rose ever. So, and from all the gurus, what they're saying, she's like clearly should be the favourite for the Golden Rose. So, no, she was outstanding.
Yeah, she was good. That turn of foot was ANAMOE-esque, I thought. Sort of that burst of speed to pretty much put him away. Yeah, she was really good. And I think, the fillies clearly had the blokes measure as 2-year-olds, and that's translated into the 3-year-old season. That's for sure. So yeah, she'll start favourite in the Golden Rose, you'd think, and yeah, I can't see anything particularly from that race beating her.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I just know that those trainers, they just want the Colts to win that race so badly. So, like, if Golden Mile and In Secret were to go there, I'd almost, I don't know, they probably would never do it, right? But it's like almost like what the Europeans do, have like a pacemaker out at the front and like set the race up for Golden Mile, because having a Golden Rose victory for a 3-year-old colt is just so valuable a stud.
Yeah, 100%. We'll have to wait and see, mate.
We will. All right, 2 Group 1s this weekend. Let's get straight into it, mate, because I'm coughing up a lung in between comments here.
Look at what he's doing for us, Drifters. Send this man some flowers.
I swear I'm not a victim, though. So Rupert Clarke, 1,400 metres, handicap. So we all love a handicap. I feel like these races never pan out how I want them to.
Never.
So what I feel like I'm most disappointed about this race in is the first and second emergency. This race,
mate.
If this race had those two in there, genuine contest, like unbelievable. And it actually makes it, because those two are my top 2 picks in the race. So
yeah, I'm with you. I'm actually with you. It's you see the acceptances come out, and you're looking at the rating of I Wish I Win and Dragon Leap, and like I haven't looked this up, but surely those two would get into the Rupert Clarke field pretty much every other year.
Yeah, and then there's just a ton of dead weight above them, and it's just it's super disappointing. And I feel like racing clubs have had the opportunity to use their discretion for handicaps before. And I feel like they tried to do it as best they can here. But, at the end of the day, they're first and second emergency. So, all right, I'm basically doing the race as if they're not going to run. How do you see the race unfolding?
Yeah, well, yeah, if either Dragon Leap or I Wish I Win gets a start, I'll be with one of them. If they're both in, I'll be with I Wish I Win. That was an enormous debut in Australia for Peter Moody, and with Jamie Carr on board with that lightweight, I think can put them away pretty comfortably. A little bit tricky from the barrier, I think, if it does get a start. Sort of, as I've said to you 1,000 times, and as I've told the Drifters 1,000 times, I'm not a big barrier guy, mate. I'm a spot and running guy, so that's a bit of a question mark. But I trust Jay Carr on board. But anyway, let's pretend that Dragon Leap and I Wish I Win aren't in the field. There's another thing that's throwing a bit of a stick in the mud, mate. And that's the weather down in Melbourne. I thought we could trust Melbourne for a dry deck most of the time, mate, but fucking typical. We go from a wet autumn to a wet spring, which is frustrating. If this was a dry deck, mate, I'd probably be with Ayrton, because that first up profile, 1,400 meters, gets a gun alley, sit just behind the leaders, try and open something up. As they sort of come around that bend, the rail's 6 meters out, so I probably want something that's up on pace. And I think Ayrton's got the talent. I think Forgive his last 2 runs of his last prep. He did win first up over 1,400 meters, and they took him to the Hollandale down the coast, and hates the heavy deck. And Mick Price has come out this week and basically said, look, if this deck gets too soft, he's just going to absolutely hate it. So yeah, look, if it's a dry deck, I'm with Ayrton. There's a stack of other things to consider as well, mate. What do you reckon?
Well, I think he got us off to a brilliant start. And the other thing with Ayrton as well was he got absolutely, I've never seen a crunch. Well, I have seen a crunch like it, but, for exaggeration's sake, he got absolutely smashed in the strap broke as well. He got backed off the map, Ayrton. And, we were there at the track, and there was just word everywhere from people we didn't even know going like, stable loves this thing. It's just going to win. And then it didn't. And alligator blood, spoiled the party. But I basically had three horses basically. Dragon Leap, outside of I Wish I Win, because if he makes it, he's going to be my on top of, and Dragon Leap obviously the second. The horse at a massive price that I feel like is very much forgotten about is Halal.
Yeah, agreed.
I can't believe the price without him. He's like $20, and he's 2 lengths off ANAMOE at 1,400 meters at Way for Age last start. Stupid. It's crazy. But I think he's in the same boat as Ed, and I think he wants it a bit more dry than what he's going to find on the weekend. So if we're on a soft 5 or so, I'm actually going to put him on top. I feel like barrier 20, not too phased. Like you, mate, I don't really care about the barriers. They're irrelevant to me. It's like you just put the good jocks on and they'll find a way. 2 lengths off ANAMOE, where he was like punching the breeze out in front. That's not his go. He needs to take a sit and he needs to chase. That's what he'll do. And that's where he'll win. But I feel like we're going to be more realistically on a soft 6, soft 7. And that's where I think showmanship really comes into the game. He can sit midfield. 7-year-old, 10 starts, 8 wins, 1/3. They've just his last start win against prime candidate. He'd be $100 in this race, but he has been running up to form. He always gives them a bunny to chase, but he didn't set. He chased him down when they set no speed up last start, and showmanship can really chase him down. I like showmanship, and at the $9 on offer at the moment, that's probably going to come in if I Wish I Win. I can see showmanship starting favourite. I Wish I Win
with Neds now.
Yeah, I think the writing's on the wall. I think I Wish I Win. That's like the market basically correcting itself because they know I Wish I Win's not going to make the race. So they're bringing in the ones that have been backed in early. So the deductions are going to be like you're going to get like $4 on the day, I reckon.
Yeah. Gee whiz, Bob Peters has had a terrible start to the spring, and those silks haven't been performing up to the standard that we've set for him, mate. But I think that can be rectified here. Yeah, I think showmanship's in with a great chance and could end up being my on toppy. But yeah, apologies, Drifters. I probably won't make a decision until game day. The other horse that I would be keen on is Tuvalu. Doesn't run a bad race. Yeah, this is a Group 1, but it is a handicap. Gets in pretty well weighted with 54.5 kegs on board. One thing about this horse is that he handles all conditions. He's going to be up on pace, so you're going to get every chance with Tuvalu. Earlier this year, I think everyone was backing him every start, and it'd either finish in the pole position or in second for you. So this is a big step up, but I think he's well weighted in this race and should get a gun run. So yeah, sorry I don't have a definitive answer for you, but Tuvalu, showmanship, Halal, Ayrton, I Wish I Win, Dragon Leap for me are all the key chances, and with the decision to be made game day.
Well, there you go. I heard Lindsay Smith saying about Tuvalu that he didn't exactly like his chances. He said he should be a 10-1 shot. He said he's a chance of winning if the two emergencies are out of the race.
Yeah, I'd say I'd agree with him. I think he probably should be a bigger price. But yeah, I just think he's going to be there or thereabouts. Bless you.
Agreed. Thank you. All right, George Main. This is a cracker. Yeah, basically, I've never seen so many people drop off a horse like the pros and all the tipsters I'm seeing drop off Zaki. My goodness, he is absolutely unbackable this weekend, apparently.
Oh, mate, when I saw that Annabelle decided to accept and put him in this race, I was shot to pieces. Not shot to pieces because, you know, I don't think he's a great horse. It's because I think he's a great horse. If he wasn't in this race, you'd give it to ANAMOE and he'd be starting at like $1.70 or something like that. But yeah, he can win this race without a doubt. But guess who I'm with? My guy Mo. If he wants to be the best horse in the country, which I think he is, he wins this race. And there's no excuses. J-Mac's gone his way over Zaki. Zaki's got the tactical advantage because he's going to be leading from the front. And that's my favourite mode of dismissal in racing, mate, is just get up front, dictate, stack them up, put them away. See you later, out. You guys are back to the pavilion. I've got the chockies. And Zaki and Incentivize are two of my favourite horses for that reason. I think ANAMOE has really matured in the last few months since his autumn prep. I think he's going to be ridden more forward. I think J-Mac's going to get him into a nice spot with some cover. Like I think if you're looking at the speed map and if you're trying to envision how this race plays out, Zaki clearly leads. I think Profondo goes forward as well. I'd probably say Hinge should be on pace. And then you're probably looking at the likes of Converge, Jewis, Montefilia, and you're sort of thinking, okay, are they going to hustle and bustle and push ANAMOE further back in the field? Nah, not anymore. I think he's a dynamic enough horse where he's going to be up on pace and he's going to be probably 2 or 3 pairs back with cover and just pounce and go bang. But yeah, Zaki could win this race, but Mo's my top selection. What do you reckon?
I tend to agree. I think if he wants to continue to have his big boy pants on, he needs to win this. And yeah, and one thing I actually didn't see until just now when you were talking was there's $91 on offer from Maximal.
You're kidding.
I can't believe that. Like, this horse ran second in Q22 last start. And, you know, how often do you hear people on the telecast, us and other people with anything to do with horse racing go like residual fitness from the Queensland winter? Well, this thing has it. $91. You know exactly what I'm going to do with that. That boy is going into my top 4 for a Neds same race multi. Makes sense.
Makes sense, mate, when you're getting that sort of ridiculous price. But what a race, mate. Zaki a star, ANAMOE a star, Converge, Profondo, Jewis, Montefilia, Fangirl, Hinged, all Group 1 winners. Mate, getting $9 about Fangirl, if they're playing on a soft 5 or better over a mile, draws a gate, Hugh Bowman on board, mate, you might see Zaki running out front, and in the last 150, 200 metres, some blue silks going really quick, and then some bloody pink silks going really quick. She's a star, I think, Fangirl. Oh, gee whiz. If you see another flashing light in this race, is she a moral for the bloody Epsom?
Yeah, potentially. I reckon well, that's where she's going, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'd say if she wins this and runs over the top of ANAMOE, she'll be second favourite in the Cox Plate, I'd say, which would be fascinating. But yeah, back to my same race multi with the good people at Neds, Declan.
My apologies to the good people at Neds and
It's so good. Did you know that with Ned's same race multis, Declan, You can select 2 to 4 runners to finish anywhere inside the top 4. It's available on all 3 racing codes on race meetings all over the world. But I think maximal top 4, ANAMOE top 1. That means he wins. I reckon that's how I'm going to play, man. I reckon that would be sensational.
You get some juice there. Thanks, Neds.
Yeah. If you are having a bet this weekend, do it responsibly, of course. All right. So we're both with ANAMOE in the George Main with Fangirl and Zaki as the main dangers. What about best bets across the weekend, mate?
Mate, there's a fair few things that I like this weekend. Do you want to start Caulfield or stick to Sydney, Randwick?
I have 2 in Caulfield.
Okay. Take the honours, mate.
All right. Well, the Caulfield Guineas, the Neds Caulfield Guineas prelude, actually, I might say. Now, we were talking about In Secret earlier, right? How she's the clear favourite for the Golden Rose. Well, I am going to say this. If this horse didn't get injured, he would be the winner of the Golden Rose, and that's Kaibu. And his form is right across like the southern states. It's everywhere for the 3-year-olds. And number 1, Osipenko, he nearly ran him down on a leader bias day that day. And I think he just goes out and wins. And I think he embarrasses Aft Captain, mate. That's what happens. He absolutely gives him windburn.
Yeah, fair enough, mate. That's a big watch for me, that race. I think Aft Captain bounces back. But I don't want to take on Osipenko either. So, yeah, I think that's a great bet.
I see him, right? I don't see much speed in the race. They tried to ride Zambigini off pace last start. He's going to lead here. I think he's drawn inside. So he's going to find the lead. I reckon Osipenko is just going to either be right behind him, and with equal luck, he'll just need to overtake 1 horse. And I think that's how I kind of see the race unfolding. So you're getting closer to $4 on offer for him, opposed to the closer to $2 for Aft Cabin. So, yeah, what about you, mate? What do you like?
Well, if you look at the 1,000 Guineas prelude, the Neds 1,000 Guineas prelude, is it Neds? I hope it's Neds.
It is.
It is definitely Neds. Mate, the 3-year-olds in Australia this season, bar a select few, are pretty average in my humble. But the worst of the bunch are the 3-year-old fillies in Victoria, mate. They're horrendous. So when I'm looking at this field, I'm seeing something that's not a 3-year-old Victorian filly. And that's number 1, She's Lickety Split, who won a Group 1 on her second start over in New Zealand. New Zealand form, always a little bit questionable, mate, but I think she's a class. There's a little bit of trepidation from the trainer. His name has escaped me. How professional from me. Someone Forsman.
Andrew Forsman?
Andrew. A little bit of trepidation because she obviously hasn't gone to Caulfield before. She's only been here for a couple of weeks, but by all means, she's a very talented little filly. You're getting $5.50 with Neds at the moment. I'm keen to see how she goes because the Victorian fillies, bang average, mate.
Yeah, and she won first up as well. She's one of my bets as well. She won first up, a Group 3, where, it took her a while to wind up, but she was racing the boys. What else do you want her to do? I ask that of you. She's against some pretty average girls here. She'll get the job done.
She'll get the JD. What else do you like in Caulfield, mate? Was that your only other one?
Mate, I found it difficult in Caulfield, to be honest. Like, that's the only 2 I liked.
Yeah. I don't mind Gold Trip if he ends up racing. Look, Kieran Maher during the week said he's forward enough to win a race like this. Obviously, he has to carry the top weight. He's $5 with Neds. In that same race is CS Racing's Shiraz. They'll blow the cobwebs out for Shiraz this weekend. Don't know if you want to dive in at the $8.
He blew out a fair few on first.
He was good, wasn't he? He was good, wasn't he? He's got bigger feet. bigger fish to fry, Shiraz, this campaign. He'll be there or thereabouts from gate 14. Makes it a little bit tricky. But yeah, $8 with Neds. Feel free to have a little go each way if you feel like it, drifters.
I thought Emissary was still the one to beat there, the one who beat home Shiraz first up. But yeah, Gold Trip. You know, if they want to run that horse in a Cox Plate, I feel like he needs to be winning that. Yeah,
agreed. And lastly, the Neds How Now Stakes. A few nice fillies and mares in that race. Isotope, $4.50. If we're getting a wet deck, I don't know about that. But Pina Moody's Chain of Lightning races again, and she could just be a really good filly. So she's $2.80 with Neds. She's short, but we'll see.
We will see. All right, what about Sydney?
Well, mate, the shorts. Who do you reckon wins?
All right, I feel like, yeah, it's basically the first act of the Everest.
The short Everest.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like it's funner if we do Nature Strip out, right? Because I think everyone logically off that Ascot run, you have to tip Nature Strip. So Nature Strip out, who would you back in this race?
Our boy Mazu. Mate, I think he's going to become a man. In his teenage years, he won a stack in a row for us. And then he picked up the Doomben 10,000 in the greatest tip of all time from us. Even though he started favourite. But I reckon the Snowdens have just been like, come on, mate, this is the prep where you become a man and you battle the big boys. Mate, you'll be up on pace, Marzu, barrier 4. Sheesh. Look, $6.50 with Neds at the moment when you're going up a couple of superstars and Nate Strippin and Wido, it's short enough, but he's locked in for the Everest for 2 years, mate. He's got to have a decent showing in this race. I think he'll be there or thereabouts, our boy Marzu.
Yeah, I agree. I've no time for Eduardo. I had none for him.
Zero.
No.
Take that, Joe Pride.
Well, I don't think it's going to be my daughter. Water off a duck's back, but I'm super interested to see Classic Legend back. Like, he's the only horse that's really dominated Nature Strip of late, like in the last 2 years, basically. So, and yeah, he's only had one run since that, then in Australia, and he ran 5th in the Everest last year, virtually first up, which was unbelievable. Crazy.
Yeah, he's a talent, that horse. Yeah, it'd be great to see how he goes.
Yeah, of course Marzu's going to win it.
Imagine if Marzu puts Nature Strip away.
Bruh.
I'm telling you.
It'd be huge. It would be unbelievable. But yeah, what else do you like in Sydney?
I've just got my best bet.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. I have one outside. So race 3 in Sydney. Over the mile. I didn't mind Kibosh, number 8. So Pink Ivory did me nicely last week. 3-year-old stepping up to open grade. Feel like this bloke can do it again. So he was unlucky running into 3rd in the Queensland Derby, but I feel like he's actually suited pretty well at the weights here. 57 kilos, but he's only giving 5 kilos away to Bazooka, please. And the favourite, Grace and Harmony, is on level weights. Nothing else really scares me in the race, to be honest. So I feel like he can sit, he'll be back in the field. So but it's a small field. So I reckon he could be like 3 lengths off him at the top of the straight. And if Randwick's playing fair, then he'll give it a red hot crack.
Yep. Lovely, mate. Lovely.
What's your best?
So best of the day for me, and no prizes to anyone who picked this, but Randwick, race 6, number 5, Zoo Gotcha. The last horse to beat in secret. She's $2.40 with Neds. Mate, the form lines out of that Silver Shadow run in secret obviously got a little bit blocked up on the straight, but comes out and puts the boys away in the run to the Rose. The horses that ran
3 winners. 3 of them.
Three winners out of that race, mate.
That race was like last week.
Yeah.
There's already been 3 winners. It's unbelievable.
So she's the word from the stable again is she's in impeccable order, drawn a great gate. J-Mac jumps straight back on after Pikey got the JD last start. There was an Everest function this week, and J-Mac was attending, and he got asked the question, what horse or horses do you think will become stars over the spring? And the first horse he said, without hesitation, was Zoo Gotcha. So this girl puts them away on the weekend, and if she puts them away, she's your favourite in the flight stakes, and she just gets the JD.
Well, there you go. Can't believe you were there at that function. That was unbelievable. How was that? What were they serving for entrees?
Well, J-Mac was actually serving me my entree. Chris Waller was asking me if I needed my champagne topped up. Davey Warner was shining my shoes. Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah, well, man, I'm surprised you saw J-Mac and Dave Warner. They only would have come up to your waist.
Yeah, mate. So that's I've got the inside word. Look, yeah, the market's found her. They didn't find her last start when she was $26, but yeah, she puts these away.
All right, love it. So my best comes in race 9 at Randwick, the Kingston Town. So Knight's Order surely can't win again. Surely not. I refuse to believe that narrative. Like that horse winning over a mile is just blatant blasphemy. But he's a bloody good horse. But I feel like this is going to get set up for something down in the weights, and that is number 12, Surefire. He was basically the only horse 2 weeks ago at Randwick to make up any ground in any race. He was 10th turning the turn, and he ran into 5th or something. Like
Benno was very good in that race as well.
Yeah. I think Benno might have. The other thing with Surefire as well, I'm pretty sure, was he was further out, and you basically wanted to be on the fence making up ground. And I feel like he was in the worst part of the track, and he still made up ground. I think he's absolutely flying based off that run and his first up run. He gets out to 2,000 meters here. I think he'll beat. I basically want to back him in against Benno in whatever races they face up against. So whether that's the Metropolitan, the Caulfield Cup, whatever. Yeah, I'm backing him in.
Yeah, that first up win over 1,400 meters was unbelievable for a horse that'll be better over 2,000 and further. I hope he goes Caulfield and Benno goes Metropolitan, because Benno will be my Metropolitan bet. Yeah, I've got a soft spot for the Greys. Plus, he's by Baggy Green, who's Tefane's mum. And he's a stayer and she's a bloody sprinter.
Yeah. And, you know.
How does that work?
I don't know, but very, very well named. Well, I'm glad this is over, to be honest, because I would like to get horizontal again, because, I've coughed up half a lung doing this, but I'll be sure to sanitize this so it's ready to go for next week, mate.
Legend, mate. Legend. Great effort coming on board. Timming comp again this weekend. Drifters, obviously we'll sort that out in our stories and what have you, but select between Randwick and Caulfield. Obviously the same prizes as always. So thanks to the good people at Gage Roads. Thanks to the good people at Bareback Biltong. And of course, a big thank you to our friends at Neds.
Of course. Sorry about that. That might have been a little bit loud at the end there, but
gotcha.
Yeah, of course. But yes, thank you. Apologies for this not coming out on Wednesday, but I was on death's door, and like Lazarus, I rose and I conquered. So
Jesus rose on the third day. Alrighty. Good luck, Drifters. Catch up.
Right. Just